What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. This is the Love and Marriage Huntsville recap. Houston, we have a Keke. Okay, so it picks up right where the last one left off. They're still in this beautiful Airbnb in Houston. Everybody's together and they are, doing trust falls, right? so, and so, um, you know, Tisha and Stormy are doing the trust fall. Tisha does not trust Stormy. But Stormy, she's like, I'm right here, I'm gonna catch you, whatever. Then they put Marsau and Courtney together, okay, that goes okay. But Melody and Martell, she lets him fall on the ground, uh, which I don't blame her, especially after how horrible he's been to her. And then in turn, she just falls to the ground. She says she trusts the ground much more than she trusts Marsau, which again, classic narcissist people, you cannot trust a narcissistic person as far as you can throw them. So she was very smart to do that. And then we have Keke, who comes in, and pretty much she comes in wreck shop, right? And she doesn't do so on purpose, but her presence there, like Stormy said, it kind of shifts the energy. There's a few things that I want to touch on. She came in, she owned and acknowledged what she did. She apologized. But Tisha and Marsau, even though they said that they accepted her apology, Tisha, went to Nell and said that she didn't really feel comfortable being there. She also would have appreciated Nell giving her a heads up. Now that I can understand, right? And so Nell, she was like, well, I was kind of hoping that she wouldn't even show up. And then it makes Nell upset. She tears up a little bit. To me, being honest, I can see, both sides of the situation. If you throw a drink in my face, I'm not really going to want you around either. But if you acknowledge it, you apologize, they're first cousins. And from what we understand about their relationship, they've pretty much been volatile and been fighting like Sophia all their life, right? So um, I would think that Tisha would have extended a little bit more grace to her blood, but not all blood is, blood is not always thicker than water. So Nell pretty much asks Keke to leave. She says, you can't really stay here at the house because Tisha and Marsau don't feel comfortable. But I do like Stormy, extending that grace to Keke, saying, well, she can, just stay with us. Because and Keke was standing on business. She was like, okay, well, I came in, I acknowledged it, I apologized. But now that I'm here in Houston, you guys can't tell me where I can and cannot go. However, on the flip side, I wouldn't invite myself somewhere where I just don't invite myself places, right? People, if they want you there, I promise you, they will oftentimes, extend the invitation. And if people really want you somewhere, they'll cover your plane ticket, the cost and all of those things. So I've never been a big fan of inviting yourself to, group outings or places that, especially if you have beef with somebody, even if it is your cousin. That's kind of where Keke lost me. But nevertheless, she's there. She's wanting to be part of the group. So it is what it is. My thing is that really kind of bothers me. Nobody is they don't have that level of smoke and disdain for Martell, who in my eyes has done so much worse. And I'm not even getting into how he was screaming, at Nell and the rest of the men were passive. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm talking about the whole revenge pee that he, has done to Melody, had a whole baby on her, like things like that, just been real, talking out the side of his neck. He already had that other situation where he was screaming at Nell when they were on her porch, and Nell went back and told Chris, and Chris was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to talk to him. So, Marsau, I'm not Marsau, Martell, right? He pretty much, has been antagonistic this whole trip, showing up at the dinner table wearing his wedding band. Like, dude, move on. It's been what, 3 years? You know what I mean? Like, it's coming across as him being really upset and desperate, the fact that, he knew that Melody was a really good woman. He keeps trying to convince, I guess, us, maybe his friend group, or even himself, right? That Melody essentially stepped out on their marriage. Melody took him back time and time again, to the point where, um, she felt like she had to, rent hotel rooms to get some kind of peace of mind. And she was willing to stay with that man. Similarly, it reminds me of like Wendy Williams situation, right? Until he up and had a baby on her. Like Kevin, he had a baby on Wendy, and that was where the line was drawn. But it's like these men do not respect their wives. And Martell mentioned in earlier seasons that he had asked some old heads, about marital advice. And I'm like, dude, this is not Jim Crow, Alabama. Like, I don't know who you was talking to, but obviously Sanford and Son didn't tell you that your wife was gonna boss up on you, get her own bag, her own coin, and be able to stand on her own. Like, she's a businesswoman, period. Like, you can't have multiple families like they could back in the day. They should not have, but the reason why they could is because women couldn't even have a bank account in the US before 1974. So they are viewing this with a framework and a lens from way back in the day. You need to catch up, sir. This is 2023. And speaking of catching up, what is up with these men letting Martell scream at Nell Fletcher like that? Chris, I need you to step up. I need you to stop being so passive and so, demure. Because on what planet can he just scream at somebody else's wife? Like, Martell is really unraveling, and it's sad. He knows he lost a good woman, because if Melody had stepped out like he's trying to convince himself and everybody else, he wouldn't have wanted her back. His ego wouldn't have let him take her back. So nobody's falling for that. And it's been 3 years, bruh. You need to move on. But in doing so, you don't need to be yelling at Nell Fletcher or anybody else, because he got her upset and they were yelling back and forth. She's like, I'll pop him in the face, blah, blah, blah. The way I would have been like, y'all need to tell him to leave. You asking Keke to leave? No. Martell needs to go. Okay. And I have a feeling that Melody is going to make sure that he's not going to continue to be a danger to society or anyone else in the near future if she has anything to say about it. But anyway, after that, they go horseback riding, which is very nice, right? I love horseback riding. I need to actually go. I haven't been in a while, but I went to this horseback riding camp when I was 8 years old. It was a lot of fun. So that was nice. And then they end the episode with them actually talking to a therapist, which is good, right? It wasn't Dr. Francis. I miss him. I don't know if the Whitlows had anything to do with getting him off of the show, because they didn't really like him, because he was telling them the truth. But again, they're no longer on the show either. But they have a new therapist, and she is very, calming. I liked her demeanor, and she was talking with Kimmi and Maurice. They're pretty much saying the same thing. Kimmi is just, she gives me, pick me vibes, and it's sad to see, because again, the only person that really stands 10 toes down, 10 toes down for their wife on this show is Courtney. That's it. He's the only one. The rest of them are just coming up short. And I truly believe that's why that they didn't check Martell, because I feel like Martell has a lot of dirt on each and every one of them, with the exception of Courtney. I feel like he knows where all the bodies are buried, figuratively. But yeah, nobody's going to step up and say, Martell, you don't need to be screaming at Nell Fletcher or any woman, Melody, or anybody like that. Like, what you need to do is go, walk it off, run, work out, whatever you need to do to blow off that steam. But you're the one essentially who messed up your family. You're the one who got another woman pregnant, and you were seeing her for years. So move on, wife Ariane Curry, like, I don't understand what the problem is with him, why he so desperately is trying to get Melody back by, wearing the wedding ring at the table and screaming and yelling. And he's like a kid. Like, dude, grow up. You got, what, 5 kids out here in the world? You need to grow up, man up, accept the fact that you lost a good woman. You're supposedly dating Ariane now, make her an honest woman if you are the man of integrity that you are trying to convince yourself and everyone else that you are, and move forward with your life. And stop yelling at women, because it's unacceptable. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe, and share, and I will talk with you later. Take care, aces. Have a good night. Bye.